This backstory is fake. It's fake as shit. Fake backstory is fake. Ding! I feel like I should be on CinemaSins. A chance discovery in a Burbank backlot. Oh my god. How embarrassing. Unsung comic vision. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see, mate. Hello, welcome to this commentary for the pilot episode of Heil, Honey, I'm Home, starring Neil McCall as Adolf. I had a drink with dinner, so now I'm doing commentary for Heil, Honey, I'm Home. That's where my life is right now. Over the course of this episode, over the course of the next half hour, I'll be pretending to know what I'm talking about and giving you the very brief history of the show and how it came to be. And it's a little nod to Married with Children there, where they come in and there's applause for each new character that comes in. Yeah, how the show came to be and kind of looking at why it what a joke. Looking at why it failed. Although I think that's a pretty good indication right there. Here's an idea. Let's give Hitler a Borscht Belt accent. Really hit the irony home. Knock it out of the park. Home run. But let's look at why it failed. Beyond the very obvious bad taste angle. The very obvious bad taste angle. This was written by Jeff Atkinson. Heard of him? He started writing at a satirical magazine called Punch magazine, which started in 1841. Would you believe? He started there much later, obviously. But he was there with Douglas Adams, who wrote Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, and John Lloyd, who co-created Not the 9 O'Clock News and Spitting Image. So, you know, some good people working there. Oh, no, this scene sets up the plot of the episode, which is a very standard sort of boss coming over for dinner kind of scenario. The boss in this case being Neville Chamberlain, who was the Prime Minister of England at the time. God. But yeah, Jeff Atkinson would actually go on to write for Spitting Image and people like Alistair McGowan and Lenny Henry, so hasn't done too bad. This, of course, is the crowning jewel, the feather in his cap of Jeff Atkinson, is the British docudrama Heil, Honey, I'm Home. This is the only episode that ever aired. And it aired on the British satellite television Galaxy, or channel, I should say, Galaxy. May it rest in peace. It only lasted all of about 9 months. This may have been the final nail in the coffin, actually, because this aired in September, and Galaxy was done and dusted by December of 1990. So, you know, not saying anything, but could be. You know, yummy. The number of planned episodes varies depending on who you ask. Most sources say it was 8 episodes. What's his name? Gareth Marks. This guy here, the neighbour. He says it was as many as 16. And they filmed some. They filmed a whole bunch. But this is the only one that ever saw the light of day. So if this is your first encounter with this thing known as Heil, Honey, I'm Home, let me fill you in on the premise of this. So it's Hitler and Ava Braun. They are living in 1938 Berlin, next door to an annoying Jewish couple. And it just immediately has big fat fucking failure stamped across its forehead. But I think there's more to it than that. I think that's, there's a deeper reason, or a couple of deeper reasons why it failed. So we'll look into that. Let's do it now. There's a comedy historian called David Hawkes who described this show as a heavy-handed concept and said that it disastrously exceeded the limits of irony. Which I think is the perfect way to describe this show. So let's look at that, and let's look at why this thing just never took off. Ever since I saw the movie musical version of The Producers, I've kind of had this, I don't want to say obsession with Hitler, because that sounds unhealthy, and it sounds like I should really see someone about it. But no, it's more like a fascination with things that make fun of Hitler, specifically things that make fun of Hitler. I have a song that was on my album. It's called Forever Ava. And it's a song, it's sung from the perspective of Ava Braun, and she's declaring her love for Hitler. She's shouting it from the rooftops, basically. And I should preface this by saying that I'm very proud of the song. I think it's kind of funny, and most people enjoy it. Most being the operative word, because there is some animosity towards it, and here's why I think that's the case. It's very reliant, or too reliant, I would say, on prior knowledge. So it only really works if you either know me and know that I'm not a Nazi sympathizer, because I'm not, and that it's written from the perspective of a character, and that's my style of writing and all of that sort of jazz. You also have to know that Hitler hated public displays of affection, to the point where he would ignore Ava Braun in public, so people wouldn't know that they were together, or that he was seeing someone, or that he had a sensitive side, lest he sort of lose his image as a powerful leader, So, if you don't know that, little bit of trivia, or you're not familiar with my stuff, or the stuff that I do, the irony would probably be lost on you, to be honest. And you'd think, what the fuck is this? What are you trying to say? So it's very dependent on people knowing those things, which is a very interesting lesson to learn, and one that needed to be learned, I think. And the lesson is this: you need some kind of framing device, someone or something that acts as audience perspective or popular opinion, right? Hitler was a hated man. No one's denying that. Arguably modern history's biggest villain. So you need something that reflects that, and that's something that The Producers does really well. Not only do you have him portrayed in Springtime for Hitler, which is the play within the play, by a flamboyantly gay man, which in itself kind of achieves the goal, because you've imbued him with a trait that he would find embarrassing and defamatory. So that's already kind of a win. But not only do you have him portrayed by a flamboyantly gay man, but the premise of the producers is they are trying to find the worst play ever written. Something so offensive and outrageous and that would make people angry and walk out and the show closes overnight, right? So they go through all of these plays and they find one that fits the bill, and it's called Springtime for Hitler, which is described as a love letter to Hitler. And they think, this is fantastic, this is perfect, it ticks all of the boxes that we were looking for, this is it, this is the play. So they go and they meet the author, Franz Liebkind, who, it transpires, is an utter peanut butter nutter. And that solidifies the statement that Hitler was a madman and all of his supporters were very mentally unstable. Right? So that's the framing device that's set up in the very beginning. So everything after that is completely excusable in terms of taste, because you know the angle from which the jokes are being made. Danica Fairman there, Canadian actress as Ava Brown. She was replaced, actually, after the pilot. Like I said, they filmed some extra stuff. Some additional episodes. They filmed more episodes. And she was replaced after this by respected theatre actress Maria Friedman, who has done a lot. The titles escape me at this particular point in time, but she's done quite a bit. But that happens, though. I know that Julia Louis-Dreyfus was a replacement in Seinfeld. Someone else played Elaine in the original pilot for Seinfeld, so that does happen. But she's still working, Danica Fairman. Mostly in theatre now, I think. I'll just have another drink. Excuse me. Oh my goodness. That's tasty. Now, I think this is where Heil, Honey, I'm Home falls down. You know, if you don't have that framework, that audience perspective, if you allow Hitler to just exist in this world, it doesn't really change anything. You know, putting him in a situation where he's a loving, albeit bumbling, Ralph Cramden, Archie Bunker type, regardless of whether it's a parody or a satire, it doesn't actually make him look ridiculous. If anything, it makes him look sympathetic and removes all the stakes in a way. You know, the only tension is between him and his Jewish neighbors, and they're kind of annoying and unlikable, and inadvertently justifies his hatred of them. You know? Any other character, it would be fine, you know, because you would go, yeah, these people are fucking annoying and he should be annoyed by them. But when it's Hitler and a Jewish couple, this makes for really uncomfortable viewing.
Chamberlain caught an earlier flight, so you went out to the airport to meet him?
This is Neil McCall as Hitler. He's still working. He's probably the most prolific of the bunch here, I guess, apart from Gareth Marks, who's laughing on the chair there. But Neil McCall has been in, things like Romeo and Juliet and Holby City, Benidorm, EastEnders. So yeah, he's working. He's still working. Gareth Marks, as I said, still works. He was in Bridget Jones's Diary. Lovejoy, Bottom. He has a demo reel on YouTube, actually. It's like 8 minutes long. It's way longer than a demo reel should be. Yeah, it's there, and it has clips of unaired episodes of Heil, Honey, I'm Home. So if you have any interest at all in seeing any more of this shit, that's where you can find it. No, I'm probably being too hard on it, and I'll go into why I think I'm being too hard on it a bit later. This is God, here he is, Neville Chamberlain. This is Arthur Cargill. I'm sure I wrote his name down. Oh shit, I didn't. Okay, it's pure speculation at this point whether his name's Arthur or not. I think it is Arthur Cargill. He did a lot before this, and this was actually the last thing he did before he died. so, what a way to end. Go out with a bang, Arthur. Shit, poor guy. What the hell is going on? I'm not really. I'm watching this with the sound off, so I have no fucking idea what's happening. It seems like a fun pilot episode. I mean, look at that, climbing over the table and playing with a feather duster, and they're all drunk, and it just seems like fun. I don't know why this failed. It's so unfortunate. Okay, so another reason I think this show failed, excuse me, is, like David Hawkes said, the concept is very heavy-handed. There's a lot to unpack here. I mean, here you have a sitcom that aired in 1990, right? And this was a time of sitcoms that dealt with the tribulations of life as a teenager. You know, you're Saved by the Bells, your Blossoms, your Doogie Howses, your Fresh Princes. There were the dysfunctional family shows. Roseanne, The Simpsons, Married with Children was huge at the time. Home Improvement was a year away. And then there were the flagship sitcoms. You know, the ones that audiences had by this point become kind of predisposed to enjoy. Thanks, I guess, in no small part to people like Norman Lear and James L. Brooks and their work in the 70s on things like All in the Family and Mary Tyler Moore and Taxi and Cheers. Cheers was huge at this point. But these were sitcoms that were edgier and more sophisticated. I mean, Seinfeld had just started the year before. The Larry Sanders Show wasn't far away. Frasier started the year after that. So that was kind of the television landscape at the time. Which brings me to my next point. Another drink, excuse me. Oh my God. My next point being, was it the fact that it was a period sitcom? Was that its undoing? I say nay. I don't think so. I mean, period shows, particularly ones set during the war, were not a new thing by this point. Dad's Army was on for 9 years. I mean, granted, that started in, when was it, 68, and finished in 77. But A Lower Low was still on television in 1990. You know, could be argued that it probably shouldn't have been. It had been on for 8 years by that point, and it had gotten stale, and half the cast had either died or left the show. I have no idea what's going on. Is he talking to the camera now? What the fuck is happening? Why is he talking to the camera? Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, no, I can't imagine why this failed. Shit. No, I think the reason this ultimately failed was, besides the horrendous lack of taste and decorum, was that it was also trying to be a parody of 1950s American sitcoms. And you can see the influence from The Honeymooners especially, but also I Love Lucy, the Dick Van Dyke Show, that kind of very broad comedy that worked in the 50s, or that was very popular, I should say, in the 50s. But what you have here, you're effectively asking an audience with 90s sensibilities and proclivities to watch a parody of 1950s American sitcoms set in the 1930s, and immediately you've gone too deep. You know? Add on top of that it's about Hitler, fucking forget it. You know, you're done before you even start.
Can't make it out. It's all wet. Peas in our brine.
Look, subjectively, yes, this is morally questionable, and it's probably right that it was cancelled. Objectively, it's actually not bad. Hear me out. There's solid performances in this. There really is. For what it is, you know, they all know exactly the tone of it. They know what it's meant to be. They know what's going on, you know, and they play it really well. They know that they're doing a parody, and they play the parody stuff, and it's great. Oh, that is good alcohol. And you can see the satire and parody elements in there. If you know what to look for, they're all there, and it's great. It actually is good, you know. I mean, like I say, its cancellation was probably for the best. You know, just having one episode of it, because now it's kind of become this little cult thing that people have vaguely heard of. You know, it's floating around in the ether. You know, and people go, oh yeah, I have heard of that. Maybe you didn't notice. Sort of somewhere.
It seems like we got your card marked right off. You really are.
But never really bothered to follow up on it. And these actors, they must have been mortified when when YouTube came along. Because now all of this old shit's getting dredged up. They thought nobody would ever see this. But it's a fascinating little nugget of television comedy that exists for some reason. And it's so weird. It's so weird that this is even a thing. But here it is. Somebody wrote it. Somebody else agreed that it was something that could be on television. People worked on it and made it, and here it is. On film for eternity. Enjoy.
Which restaurant would you like me to take you to? So, how about that, babe? Huh? You're living with one slick fury here.
Oh, Mr. Sausage.
Oh, hoochie coochie girl.
Little bit political there. Oh, sorry, I thought I was doing a bit of a Ben Elton there. Ben Elton with you in a few moments here on Galaxy.